And hold on. Yeah. Okay. So let me check everywhere. I'm live. Check everywhere. Okay. Okay. Wait for some time. See. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome back again to Analytics Anand. So today, Karan will be joining from ENY, where we'll be discussing your advanced data modeling for one of the challenge which was recently shared on my profile from one of the company for their Power BI developer role, right? All the files, whatever we will be sharing in this lecture series, I have already uploaded in the description of this video. So go and check out. Do not ask again and again in the chat stating where is the PPT, where is the Power BI files, and the link to the data sets. Everything I have shared in the description of this video, right? So you can check out the description on YouTube and LinkedIn, those who are watching. I have shared in the description. So make sure you go through it, download all the files, and listen to what Karan says, right? We'll start in some 2-3 minutes and then hand over to Karan, right? Just give me 1 minute. Let's wait for you all who have joined. Anuradha has joined. Good evening. Hi. Vijay has joined. Okay. 9 people I can see from YouTube and 4 people I can see from the LinkedIn. So this is streaming live on YouTube also and LinkedIn also. So if you have any bandwidth issue on YouTube, you can watch it on LinkedIn also. And Facebook also, it is getting live stream. Okay. This is very, very important session for any of your Power BI interview series. This is definitely short question which is being asked. Like, have you done modeling? What are the concepts? What are the key terminologies which you should keep in mind while doing any data modeling in Power BI, right? And that's what we're going to discuss. Karan will be discussing with you all. Any doubt anywhere, just focus on what he is saying, right? And accordingly, you can feel free to ask your doubt in the chat section. Okay? We'll wait some 2, 3, 4 minutes more so that the folks can join and then we can begin our sessions, right? Before we begin, just a prerequisite, right, guys? Start working on the 5 most important skills which you need in order to excel in the data analytics industry. Now, gone those days where with just SQL and Power BI you will get a job. No, you will not get a job. Client and consultant and the company wants you to know any one of the ETL tool also, either Matillion, either Alteryx or Informatica. Learn Matillion, right? In few of the shorts video I have uploaded, I have asked you all, right? There's not that not that crowded. This market is not that much crowded. So if you learn Matillion the right way, already on my GitHub and already on my analytics with aranand.in, the entire course is there. Go and learn. One ETL tool is must in these days. Without ETL tool, you won't get a job, right? As a part of the job guarantee program, whatever the consultant is there under my hood, they are looking for one ETL tool, one SQL, and one Power BI. So make sure if you are working, if you want to work as a data analytics, SQL is must, Power BI is must, one ETL tool is also must. You can choose Matillion or Alteryx, any one between these two, right? I would prefer go ahead with the Matillion because the market is quite wide open in India and Europe, and you will learn a lot in-depth concepts. Soon the course will come live also on Udemy. Already it's there on my YouTube platform. Okay, and Lectues with Anand.in. You can go and check it out from there. You can enroll in. So start learning Matillion if you have not started. If you have completed your SQL and Power BI, do not wait for the job, right? Do not wait for the job. Job then and there it will come, but don't stop yourself from learning. Okay, go and start learning Matillion. Matillion is the key. You can master the entire concepts of ETL, entire concepts of your SQL will come handy, where you can master your AWS also at the back end, along with Snowflake and your this one, Matillion. So what are the key skills which you need in the current market segment? SQL, bread and butter. Python, of course. Snowflake, of course. You cannot rely without Snowflake. Power BI, of course, and one ETL tool, right? Excel, I'm not counting because Excel is by default. So 5 things you need, right? That's why prepare yourself in such a way, those who are watching me live, those who wants to enter the data analytics industry. That's what this job guarantee program is, which I'm bringing live from 15th of August. So these 5 tech stack, these 5 skills you need in the current job market in order to survive in this industry, right? AI has revolutionized the complete industry. So you should know these 5 things. Then only you can survive in the industry. So start practicing in such a way. You have my Snowflake playlist, you have my Matillion, Power BI, every course is there. Whatever you want to learn, just you need to learn the right way. Okay, let me see if Karan has joined or not. I'll invite him. And those also a thumb rule. I keep saying to all my candidates, those who have 3 years of experience in the data analytics industry, this is the right time to leave the data analytics industry. You should focus on data engineering. If you have 3 years of experience, this is a disclaimer to me watching across the country. Those who are watching me live, hear me loud out very, very clearly. No one will tell you this. I'm telling from the experience. Do not spend more than 3 years as a data analyst in a Power BI developer. Okay, 3 years is more than enough. 3 years is more than enough. Move after 3 years into your ETL developer role, right? And Matillion will help you. Snowflake and Matillion is the key. Master Snowflake and master Matillion, you have lots of job and your package will shoot like anything. Trust me. So once you have 3 years minimum for any data engineer role, 3 years is minimum. So once you have 3 years of experience, please leave your current role. Data analytics is not the role once you are 3 years into this industry. 3 years minimum, I say 2.5 to 3 years. 3 years is the starting point for your data engineering role, right? So if you have 3 years of experience, leave your role and start preparing for your Snowflake and Matillion and also AWS. These 3 things you need in order to excel. And Python, of course, for data engineering folks, Python is must. Okay, I'll leave over to you, Karan. Karan has joined. Yeah, welcome, Karan, to this platform. You can unmute yourself. You can turn on the video and I'll give the I'll make you the co-host and then you can share your screen.
Hello.
Karan,
Hello,
I cannot
Anand,
hear you if you are speaking. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, Anand, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, over to you, Karan. I'm disabling my camera. Guys, anywhere, anytime you have doubt, I'm monitoring all the chat. Even Karan will be monitoring. Feel free to ask then and there itself. All the PPT files which Karan will be showcasing you, I have shared in the description of the YouTube video. So go and download from there. Okay. Yeah. Over to you, Karan.
Hello, everyone. I hope my voice is audible. First of all, a very good evening to you guys. Now, first of all, I want to tell one thing. If I'm looking on my left-hand side, so I am watching the live chat over there, right? So whenever I'm looking on my left-hand side, please assume that I am looking on whatever you guys are responding, right? So, okay, yes, Karan, you are audible. Thank you so much, Vijay, for that response. Okay, so many of you had requested me to show the data model, right? The data modeling challenge with Anand sir had bought, right? So many of you guys had requested for it. Today, the main goal of this session would be to understand the data modeling if such a large data set is encountered anytime, right? If somebody is giving you such a large data set and it is a kind of challenge, like the challenge was to complete the data model in 48 hours, right? In real life examples also, client will have some kind of a deadlines over there, right? Where you would be supposed to give the efforts and you will be supposed to complete your project in a certain amount of time, right? So today our main focus would be to understand what all things could have been done better. If I know many of you people have already submitted that challenge, so today we'll not focus on just doing the things, but we'll also focus on understanding the things in the more better and an optimized version, right? So let me do one thing. First of all, I will just share my screen and we'll start with the PPT. Just give me a minute. Just let me go, guys, if my screen is visible to you all. Okay. I think my screen is visible. I can see on my second screen. So let me start with the PT. Yes, current screen visible. Okay. So first of all, as usual, let me give me my small introduction. My name is Karan and I'm working as a senior analyst at Ernest and Young, and I have done my computer engineering, with bachelor's in computer engineering. Apart from it, I am also now working as a Power BI developer, which kind of looks at the other projects and maintains it rather than just doing it. So I am kind of a leader in a team as well. So apart from it, my future interests are into data engineering subjects such as Snowflake, cloud technologies, AWS, and other ETL tools as well. So that is my future plan. So let me begin with the today's session. That was a small introduction from me. So let us start with the today's session as well. So in the today's session, our main objective is to master the data modeling by using the challenge which was given by Anand sir, right? So let us start with the very first thing, that is okay. So this was the challenge that was given. It was a hiring Power BI Data Geeks challenge. That was a company was hiring it. It seems it was a model data set and 48 hours time was given as well, right? So I think the data set and everything, you guys are already familiar with it because many of people had contacted me. Many of people had raised some questions regarding how to optimize the data model, etc., etc. So without wasting time, let us start with the okay. So today's session will be divided into I assume four parts. First of all, I'll start with the very basic one. That is, what do we mean by data modeling in Power BI? Second thing would be, why do we need it? These are nothing but very small prerequisite type of topics that you can just hear from what I am saying. Like they are just 5-10 minutes type of topic, and I will just explain an overview about it because before exploring the data set and preparing the model, we should know why are we doing it, right? And why was 48 hours given to us for doing this particular part of the project, right? So let us start. Section number one, what is data modeling? Now, whenever a Power BI project is started, right? Whenever we go to a client and we get a project and then we collect the data and the project is in progress, right? So there are multiple steps associated with the projects. For example, the first step would be we need to integrate the data into Power BI.
Karan, sorry to interrupt. Also, many people will be new, many folks will be new. So explain them the challenge also. Okay, when you are explaining it, just let them know what was the challenge all about. Anyhow, I've given the link.
Okay, okay, got it, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so people who are new here, I'll do one thing. Whenever we start with the project here, right? So I'll do one thing. I'll also explain the topic here. Just give me a minute. Hello. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. I think there was some error in my audible devices. Okay, so let me start. What is data modeling? So whenever we start a project, right? Whenever a Power BI project is started, the first step is that we integrate the data, whether it is coming from a Snowflake cloud platform, whether it is coming from different Excel files, or whether it is the client has stored the data in Microsoft SharePoint, right? So from there, our very first step is that we get the data into our Power BI desktop, right? Now the second step follows is whatever are the required transformations, such as data cleaning transformations are there. If there are any other requirement transformations, such as replacing a value, or removing some of the columns, or preparing some additional columns based on preparing a date table, right? So these are the steps that are included in the data transformation. Right. Once the data is transformed, the data set is then loaded for the next step, right? Where the next step is nothing but our data modeling. And it is one of the most important steps in the Power BI, because whatever report that you are seeing, right, the interactions between the different types of charts or the visualizations, whatever we say, it is all dependent on the tables that are connected with each other, right? So if I give you a very bookish type of definition for data modeling, it would be as data modeling in Power BI is nothing but it refers to the process of creating relationships between different data sources and defining the structure of your data, right? Whenever we take two tables, for example, let me consider two tables here, such as students and their roll number, right? So we can consider these two tables as two different entities, and we can create a relationship such as foreign key or the primary key, right, between here. Now, this is a basic definition of data modeling. It involves organizing the data into tables, defining the relationships, and establishing rules to ensure accurate and efficient analysis of the reporting. Right. We want our report to be interactive, right? For example, if a particular person is selecting on a particular part of the report, so that particular filter should be applied on the whole report, right? That is why the main reason of why Power BI was introduced in the world, right? That above Excel, we need some kind of a visualization tool that will help us to overview the whole data into a single screen or a dashboard, right? So this is a basic understanding of data modeling, what we do. If I explain you in Hindi, data modeling is nothing but हम दो टेबल लेते हैं, दो टेबल में जो कॉमन की रहता है उसको एक साथ कनेक्ट कर देते हैं, राइट? दैट इज हाउ आवर मॉडल वुड फंक्शन. Now, why do we need data modeling? What are the reasons? Like, if somebody asks you in an interview, right, okay, you have performed this particular step in your project, that is the data modeling step. Why was the need to do that, right? इसके अलावा काम चल रहा था कि नहीं चल रहा था, right? So these are the following points that are needed: data integrity, efficiency, scalability, and user friendly, right? These are the following points for which we need the data modeling. If I explain you one of the example of data integrity, for example, let us consider that we have a master table. I hope everybody understands what is a master table. Or people might be familiar with two other terms such as the dimension table or the fact table, right? So master table is nothing but your dimension table in which आपके सारे unique values present होते हैं, right? So the very first point says data integrity, right? तो data integrity is nothing but ये इंश्योर करना है हमें कि हमारा डेटा एक्यूरेट है. वॉट एवर डेटा इज कमिंग इन अवर फैक्ट टेबल और वॉट एवर डेटा इज कमिंग इन अवर ट्रांजेक्शन टेबल, जिसके अंदर यूनिक वैल्यूज नहीं डुप्लीकेट वैल्यूज भी हो सकते हैं, राइट? तो वो वैल्यूज करेक्ट होने चाहिए, राइट? दैट वैल्यूज मस्ट बी डिफाइंड समवेयर और द अदर, के ऐसा ना हो कि कोई सिस्टम के बाहर का वैल्यू आ रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, रोल नंबर किसी का ले लिया, इफ रोल नंबर इज फ्रॉम 1 2 3 4, तो ट्रांजेक्शन टेबल में ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि रोल नंबर बीच में आ रहा है 51A. दैट इज नॉट अ करेक्ट रोल नंबर, राइट? सो ये सारे रूल्स जहां पे डिफाइन होते हैं, दैट इज नथिंग बट अवर डायमेंशन टेबल विच एक्ट्स एज अ मास्टर टेबल एंड इट कंटेन्स ओनली द यूनिक वैल्यूज, राइट? Now, if you have a master table that is linked with the transaction table and it is maintaining the integrity, so that automatically improves the efficiency by reducing the redundancy in your table, right? Because you already have some of the rules present in your master table, that these are the columns, these are the unique keys, or these are the primary keys that are defined, right? This will also increase the scalability. For example, अगर फ्यूचर में किसी ने नया एक रोल नंबर ऐड कर रहे हैं, राइट, इन द मास्टर टेबल, एक नया स्टूडेंट फॉर एग्जांपल एक क्लास में आया है, तो I don't need to go anywhere. I will just select the student roll number file master table and I will just add one row over there, right? बाकी फिर सारे नए tables जो भी है, जैसे एग्जाम टेबल हो गया, फॉर एग्जाम्पल सब्जेक्ट्स टेबल हो गए, उसमें we can use that roll number over there and that will automatically be linked with this master table. Correct. Now the last thing is user friendly. It is usually very much advised that we should not keep our all the data in one table, right? There is a particular schema in which the database should be defined to improve the efficiency, to improve the optimization, to improve the faster interactions with the model, etc., right? That these are the some of the topics that we also learn in SQL, or we also learn the snow while we are learning Snowflake Cloud, right? So this is nothing new, but this was just the overview of why, what are we doing in data modeling and why do we need it, right? I hope everyone is okay with this and everyone has understood the overview of the data modeling. I know majority of the people might know what are we doing here, but this was just a prerequisite. If yes, then let me go to the very next section. Guys, please respond in the chat. I will be also looking in the chat one by one. Okay. So the next part is nothing but we'll explore the dataset. The dataset link is already present in the YouTube description. You guys can download it from there. In the dataset, we have the following tables. I think there were around 25 tables present. From the name itself, I can make out that there are around uh, only 7 or 8. Yeah, there are around 8 transaction table, or there are around 8 there are around 8 transaction table, or there are around 8 fact tables, right? So and the rest of the tables are nothing but the master tables. Now our main objective would not be to go in the data now, like obviously we'll go in the data, but our main objective would not be that once we have got the data, I will go in the data and I will just create the relationship. No, that is now how a real world project works, right? If you have got some data from the client, suppose this is the very first day that I told you that Vijay, for example, Vijay, you please take this particular 25 files from me, and you create the data modeling step, and I will continue the rest of the work. Right? You have 48 hours with you. So our what should be the next steps, right? So I hope everyone has the particular data set with them. No need for you guys to do it now simultaneously with me. I will provide you the Power BI model file also, the PBIX file. You can refer that particular file. While creating the data model, I found only two difficulties where you guys must have stuck. And also we got the feedback from the challenge provider, like the company which had raised this particular challenge, right? We had got some feedback from them as well about the models that you guys have submitted. So I will also discuss about that, what could have we done better in that particular scenario. So let me go to the section which is nothing but preparing the model. And these are the main points in the today's session that are important while we discuss about the process of creating a data model, right? Or the step like in which we are preparing a data model, right? So the first of all, if somebody would have given me this particular 25 files, so what I would have done is I would have created a tracker file for my data modeling step. Now, what is a tracker file? Just give me a minute. I will stop sharing my screen. I will open my tracker file and I will again share my screen. And please, if somebody wants to note this particular steps, they are pretty much welcome. They can note this particular steps as well, right? So the first step, what would I have done is I would have created a tracker file for my relationship or for my data modeling steps, right? Now, the tracker file is nothing but the tracker file contains five particular columns. And typically, it contains four columns in which the first column is the table number, table name. Sorry, I think there is an typo over here. There is nothing but table name. The second is nothing but two table. So what this defines is that this will define our relationship from this particular table to whatever is the name present in this particular table, right? And what is their relationship status. So everybody knows that there are four type of relationship status that we can build. Well, that is one to many to one, then many to many, and one to one, right? There, and one to many is nothing but our left join. Everybody is, I hope everyone is familiar with that, right? And also one of the important thing that is in Power BI is the sign of the filter that we use while creating the data model, correct? So the main purpose of this particular tracking file or this particular tracker which we have created is this is not for a show or to do something with a client, right? This is something that we create for ourselves. For example, I have got this much number of tables with me. There are around 25 tables in which I have to play around with creating the relationships, so checking their filters, we check whether the filters are working or not, correct? So for me, if I do not miss any particular relationship, I do not miss any particular table uh, to which the relationship was supposed to be created between two tables, I have created this particular sheet for me, right? Relationship direction. Yeah, correct, correct. So I hope everybody is okay with the very first point that we have discussed. That is the prepare a tracker file, and this is really important, guys. If you trust me, this is really important, because once you start creating the relationships, your mind will be like ये line इधर से जा रहा है, वो line इधर से जा रहा है, this particular table is linked with this file. Then you start opening the manage relationship window and you'll just look around the rows which table is connected to what table. It creates a confusion and typically it is a waste of time, right? So first step that we have completed is nothing but we have to prepare a tracker file which will have the two from table, to table, and the relationship type and the filter type, that is the relationship direction also, right? Now another point that I want to discuss which is important in this tracker is that I have only mentioned the dimension tables over here. If you notice, from till 15, or till number 15 to from the very starting point, I have just mentioned the dimension tables and I have not mentioned the fact tables from the first, right? Because there are very less scenarios, and this is 2 points that we need to keep in our mind. Our relationship should start from the dimension table to the fact table, not from the fact table to the dimension table, right? Whenever we say that our relationship is from one to many, usually people say in this manner only that these two tables have relationship of type one to many. There are very less chance then people say that we have created a relationship of many to one, right? So first step is that we need to have the dimension tables over here. And I know that if the tables and everything are correct, if the schema is correct, is everything is defined properly, I know my fact tables would come here itself. There are chances that dimension tables will also come here, but majority of the time, fact tables will only come to the two table side. There are very less scenarios in which there we need to connect two fact tables together. That is, for example, there are very less scenarios in which we might need to connect two transaction tables, and that ends up in many to many type of relationship only, right? So that is not also advisable, correct? The next step is discuss on the ambiguity issue. Now, to reach this particular point, we'll go to our Power BI report and we'll start building the data model itself, right? Till we reach with this particular point, that is discuss the ambiguity issue, because while I was preparing the data model, I came up with two instances on which there were the ambiguity issue and which was stopping or which was giving error in the data model, right? And this is also one of the feedback that we have received from the challengers, which had the person who had came up with the challenge, right? They had gave us this feedback, like majority of the people who had submitted the data model had the ambiguity issue in the data model, right? Whenever they are trying to create a particular report or a particular visualization in the report, it was showing some ambiguity issue over there. Let me do one thing. We'll straight away jump into our Power BI report. We'll start creating our model over there. Yeah, let me again share my screen. Hmm, okay. Yeah. Okay. I think my screen is again visible. Just give me a minute. Yeah. I think I can see my screen. So as we can see that I have already loaded this particular all the 25 tables in my Power BI desktop itself. This is nothing but a simple step. Wherever is your data tables present in your local desktop, the first thing would be you will click on get data. Now since the data the data which was provided by them was in a CSV file, you will click on text or CSV and you will click on connect, locate the files, and then you will load it in the Power BI itself, right? Now let me do one thing. The challenge that was given on a clean data set, right? If you guys have noticed one thing, the data set was named as cleaned contours for data set or something, right? So that means all the data which was present in the data set was already cleaned and there was no requirement of doing any transformation steps or doing any particular modifications from the Power Query editor, right? So so the data set was already clean. So or typically our next step would be to go to the data model and create the data model over there, right? Create the relationships over there. Let me do one thing. I'll go to all tables. Yeah. Now, don't worry about this also. This particular structure is something which I have already I have created so that when we are taking one-on-one table, right, one by one table which we are going to explore, so we'll able to see the relationships that are created over here, right? The first step was the thing. It was very simple that we had created a tracker. Now, the second step is nothing but we'll start with the data modeling of the tables. So I'll go to my tracker. I will see what is the column number, what is the table number one present in my tracker. I can see that the table number one is nothing but dim account, right? So it is a dimension table based on the name, and it is, mark my words, it is not necessary that you will always know the dimension table, right? Like not all clients give the dimension table or the master table as named as the nomenclature of dim as first, right? As the prefix. They will just give account as the table, right? It is our responsibility to identify that what is the master table and which are the fact table, right? Master table or what is the dimension table, right? They are the two similar. But now if I say master table, so you understand that I am referring to the dimension table only. So let me go to the account table and I can see that the account table is containing six particular columns, out of which account key, and by observing the column itself I can make out that this particular column is the primary key and this particular table is a master table because first of all there are less number of rows in it, second of all there are no duplicate values present with it. The third is that this particular column, this particular column, that is the account key, would have some or the other relationship with the sales table if it is present, right? Because that is the main reason that they have given this dimension table, right? So the next step, I have explored my particular data from the first table itself, that is the dimension. I will just simply go in my model view, observe my particular steps, what I am doing, right? Now I know that the account key is the primary key. I will write account key over here. Got it? what was the first step? I had gone to my tracker. I saw what was the particular file name or what was the table name which I need to explore right now. I have explored that particular table as well. I have seen that okay, this is the primary key here. And the current step is that I have searched for that primary key. Now, on the right hand side, you can see that there are only two tables which are showing there are only two tables which are appearing with the account key column, right? And as we know that the account key which is unique in a table, right? So this is nothing but the primary key, right? The dim account is containing the primary key, and there is another fact strategy table also present, which is containing the account key, right? So the next step would be I will again go to the table view. I will search for the fact strategy plan, and I will click on the account key. And yeah, here I can see that there are multiple duplicate values present. So this is definitely not the this is definitely not the primary key. As we can see that 5 is present multiple times in the fact strategy plan, but 5 is only present in one time in the account table, right? So this is definitely I have made in my mind that this would be a one-to-many relationship between the dim account and the fact strategy plan. So I will just go to my manage relationship tab, which is present on the top side of the Power BI desktop. I will click on new relationship. I will click on the from table, that is nothing but dim account. And our to table is nothing but the fact strategy plan. And as we can see that the Power BI is so intelligent that it has automatically created a relationship between, it has automatically identified the relationship cardinality also, or the relationship type also, that is one to many. It has also identified the columns between which the relationship is to be created, and also the cross filter direction. This is something which I will talk about in just a minute. So I think the very first relationship that we are creating is made, right? I've clicked on save button and it will automatically create the relationship between the two table. And we can see that the relationship between the fact strategy plan and the dim account is created based on the account key. And that is status is also, it is showing as active. Let me go here and let me show you in the model view also. So what I was talking about the direction, right? The cross filter direction is that this particular arrow. Now create it as a thumb rule that whenever we are creating a relationship between the dimension table or the master table to the fact table or the transaction table, the arrow which defines is the filter. That is this particular statement, how I would read it as my account table, which is containing the account key as the unique values, is filtering my transaction table or the fact table, which is containing the duplicate values, and which is the correct logic, right? There should not be a scenario where duplicate values are filtering the unique values, correct? So the cross filter is on the correct direction. It is saying that account table is filtering the strategy plan table, right? I hope this particular part is clear, everyone. We have created our very first relationship between the two tables. Let me go to my tracker and I will just update this particular thing over here. Mhm. Okay. And that is the filter is also one way. It is not a two-way filter we have seen. If it was a two-way filter, we would have seen the arrow on both the sides, right? So I hope this particular strategy of how we should deal with the large number of tables, right? Whenever we are given such a large data set, how should we deal with it, right? Rather than just going in a unorganized manner. I hope everybody is liking this particular strategy, right? So I can see that there were only two tables when I had selected the dim account table. So yeah, I have created the relationship between two tables. Now I can move on my next particular table. First of all, tell me guys if there is any doubt in this, because the first table was only the table where I had to explain you the majority of the part, right? That is the cardinality, that is the cross filter directions. Please, everyone, uh, give in the chat whether you have understood the very first part that we have created, right? Chalo, I'll do one thing. I think nobody is responding. So I'll do one thing. I will go ahead with the second particular table. That is nothing but the dim channel table. Uh, yes, really like this tracker. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijay. So I'll do one thing. Since we have completed the relationship formation for the second first table, we'll go to the second table. We'll go in our Power BI desktop. The first step would be to explore that particular table on which we are already present, right? That is the dim channel table. Now, in the dim channel table, by looking at the table, someone would by looking at the table, somebody would say that this is a master table, right? We can see that only four values are present in this particular table, and those all the values are unique values, right? No value is duplicated, right? We are not able to see one two time or two is appearing three time, right? And the channel key is nothing but channel key is acting as the primary key for this particular table. The next step would be to search for the primary key in the data tab. So our primary key is channel. Now, by looking on the right hand side, we came to know that, okay, there are three tables which are containing this particular primary key. One is the primary table itself, that is the dim channel, and the other two tables are the fact tables, right? That is the fact sales and the fact sales quota, right? So I have an understanding, okay, that my particular relationship between these dim channel would be only two tables with two tables, right? So let me first explore what is the fact tables, what is the data present in the fact tables. Okay, by looking at the channel itself, like the fact sales is nothing but we can see that this is a typical sales table kind of data, that where we have a sales key or a sales identifier. We have the date on which the sales was done. We have the store key. We have the product key. We have the promotion key. We have the currency key. Then what was the unit cost of that particular product? What was the unit price at which the product was sold? What was the sales quantity? If there was any returned product, what was the quantity, and etc etc, right? So this is typically a sales kind of a table where our focus is not on the data right now. Our focus is on creating the relationship based on the correct column, right? So I have identified my current column between which I need to create the relationship. That is the channel key. And by looking at this channel key, I can make out, okay, this is also a many to one to many relationship, because one is appearing many time in this table and one is appearing only one time in the other table, right? Now let me go to the fact sales quota as well and observe that particular table as well. Okay, I can see that this is also one of the sales kind of table itself, but this assuming that it must be a quota type of a sales. So this is also containing my channel key, and channel key is appearing multiple times in this particular table, right? So our step is done. We have observed the primary key successfully. We have also identified the tables between which the relationships could be possible, right? So then the next step would be go in the relationship tab and click on the manage relationship window, right? That would appear a window for us, and in the from table we can select our particular table, that is the dim channel, and the next table was the fact sales quota, right? So as we can see that our Power BI is really intelligent. It has automatically identified the channel keys, the primary key and the foreign key, and also the cardinality, that is one to many, and the cross filters, right? I'll click on save. and this will create a relationship. Okay, I can see that the relationship is created. And also there was another table also between which we need to create a relationship. That was nothing but the fact sales table, I think so. Yeah. So the fact sales table, right? Similarly, I will click on save and we have created our relationship between the two tables successfully. Now, let me just close it once and I can see that, okay, my fact tables is here and my dimension channel table is here, and both the tables are correctly related to each other, right? That the fact tables is also connected with the dimension channel, and the fact sales quota is also connected to the dimension channel. Since I have completed this particular table as well, I will go to my tracker. I will just enter the values over there. My job is my job till now. I am very much clear in my mind that two tables are connected, and the next table that I want to go for is the currency table, right? So pretty simple. I'll go in the table view. I will click on currency and I will just go in that particular table. Now, as assumed that the currency table is also a master table, it is containing the details about the different currencies and their descriptions, right? For example, USD is US dollar, then Canadian dollar, then we have euros, then we have Indian rupee, etc. So this is nothing but a master table which is identifying the currencies for us. But on the right hand side, I can see that also the currency key is nothing but the primary key. We have also identified that over here. Now on the right hand side, when I search for the currency key, I can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6 particular tables with which the dimension currency table would be related or may be related, right? So there is a possibility of relationship between the dimension currency and this particular 6 tables. So I have got an overview about it. The dimension channel table has a duplicate columns and is therefore a reason for that. No, actually columns could be duplicate, but the rows cannot be duplicate. The idea of the master table or the idea of the dimension table is that you have the unique values present in it, right? Now in this particular scenario also, if I create another column which is also a currency name itself and it is having the same values, right? So that does not give that does not mean that the duplication is done here, right? My one particular row is unique itself, right? One is assigned to a particular row only, right? It is not assigned to any other things, right? So I hope your doubt is clear. Now the next thing would be to go in the model tab and first of all, let me search for the dimension currency table here so that it is easy for us. Okay, so the dimension currency is here. And I think it was related to each and every table, I assume. So quickly, just let me do the steps. I think people now might be familiar with that steps also. Fact exchange rate. Yeah. Okay, clear. Okay, Zafir. Thank you. No, 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 no. I hope it does not create automatic relationships. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Just give me a minute, guys. By mistake, I have clicked on the automatic detection, right? So let me just give me a minute. I'll just
So far, how's the session going on, guys? So are you enjoying the session? So this is all about the data modeling. This is the advanced data modeling. So whenever you are starting with the Power BI, so you should do with the basics data modeling. Take 2 or 3 data sets, take 2 or 3 tables, understand how data modeling works, understand one is to one to many, many to one, and many to many. Understand the cardinality part. So once you have understood all those things, slowly, you should increase the level. So this is how in reality in IT organization things works. You'll be dealing with multiple facts and dimension tables, 20 facts table, 5 dimension table, and so on, right? So you need to master all those skills. So start from the basics one and then accordingly take it level slowly, higher and higher, right? So this is how things work in reality in the industry. That's why this challenge was given, right? And within 48 hours they wanted to roll out the offer. So many of, I think, folks from Analytics with Anand have given this challenge. I don't know how many of you got selected. You might have got an email, but make sure you practice, you go through all of this, right? And if you have any doubt, Karan is there. Feel free to reach out to him. He's available on LinkedIn. You can reach out to him on LinkedIn. His ID is there, right? So make sure you study the right way. Yeah, he's back. Yeah, Karan.
Yeah. So okay. Let me again start from where we had left. So I have created one relationship over here, right? That was from the currency table to the fact exchange table, right? So on the left, on the right hand side, I can see that there is another table with which the dimension currency table could possibly related to it, right? That is the fact inventory table. So let me go to my new relationship tab. I'll click on dimension currency table. I'll click on the fact inventory table. And as we can see that Power BI has automatically detected it. And I will click on save. By the later of the session, right, when we are at the end of the session, you will see that the data model which we have created, right, it is such a big model, and like you will be confused like what line is going at which direction, what is the data that we have like understood it, right, in such a 2 hours of span. Correct. So the next table is nothing but the fact online sales. Let me just do one thing. I will quickly connect this particular tables, because this particular tables is having large number of connections with each other, right? And this is a pretty straightforward. My main focus is to discuss on the ambiguity issue that you will face in one of the scenarios which I had encountered here, right? Fact online sales. I think I had picked that also. Let me go to the fact sales. Many of the people had contacted me during this particular challenge, and uh, I was amazed by the doubts that some of the people were asking me, right? So Rone is asking me something. Karan, in manage relationship table, after creating, why it is showing different? Can you please open up? What it is showing you different? Rono, if you can explain me that what is the thing that you are not seeing correctly, right? So I can explain it. The last table is nothing but the strategy plan. Okay, so I have quickly created the table relationships over here. Let me check if the number of relationships are correct. One, two, three, four, 5 and 6, and here also I can see that 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So I have created the relationship between these six particular tables, and one is the dimension currency. Let us do one thing, Rono. Let me first explain the let me go to the next point first of all, that is the ambiguity issue, right? Till then I think everything must be pretty clear, right? Till now, right? Like we are just creating the relationship and we are just exploring the data set, right? So let me go to the tracker. and let me update what was created just now. So I have also updated the tables in my tracker that with which the dimension currency is connected, right? Now on the next table that I am seeing is nothing but the dimension customer, right? So let me quickly go to my Power BI and let me again repeat the particular steps, that is customers. I will search dimension customer, and I will first of all go in the table. Why are these dotted lines? Acha, Rono, I am assuming that in your particular scenario, you must have auto detected the relationships over there. What I have done is I have deleted each and every relationship from this particular model, so that I will one by one create the relationship between the tables, and I will explain to you guys, right, how is the relationship created. I think you need to delete all the relationships, and then you can create one. The dotted lines are nothing but they represent the inactive relationship, right? So yeah, let me explore this particular table as well. That is the customer table. Now in the customer table, we can see that okay, we have a customer key, and by assuming the particular table, I can see that this is nothing but information about the customers, right? Like the customer key is 601. Let us do one thing. Let us sort it. Yeah. So I think it is also unique. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are no repeated values over here. And we have around 18,000 rows present in this particular table, master table, right? This is for those people who say that master table cannot be large, right? So we can see that there are 18,000 rows of unique values present in this particular table, right? Now, the next step would be I have identified that customer key is my primary key present over here. So let me go to let me write that particular primary key, customer key, and I can see that there are only two tables appearing on my right hand side right now. One is the dimension customer, which we are looking right now, and the other is the fact online sales table, right? So I'll go to my model view. I know that the relationship possibility is only between the two tables, customer key, that is the dimension customer, and the fact online sales. I'll click on manage relationship again. I'll click on new relationship. In the from table, I will click on dimension customer because that is our the left hand side of the table. And in the to table, I will click on the fact online sales that we can see. Now Power BI has automatically identified. See, whenever you are doing the things correct, right? Whenever you are going on the right path, you will observe that in a Power BI project, majority like 50 to 60% of the work is done by Power BI itself, right? If there is some issue which we are going to face in the upcoming tables, right? I want to discuss about the ambiguity issue here, right? So there you will see that there were some issue which we are not able to simply connect the table. So rest everything, if you are going on a right track, if you are creating the relations based on the correct strategy that we are following right now, you won't find any difficulty how many the tables are included, whether there are 35 tables or 25 tables or 45 tables. You will be able to create the relationships very easily. Let me show you in the model as well. See, in the model, we can see that we have created the relationship between the dimension table and the fact online sales. And in my on the right hand side also, I can see that there are only two tables which contains the customer key column, right? So let me go to my tracker again. In my tracker, I will update the particular tables values which I have just created. Now is the dimension date table. Now, one of the key things that you need to note is that whenever you are given a particular project, majority 90% of the projects in Power BI, the date table would be connected to each and every table, that is the transaction table, right? Because the everything happens on a particular date, right? Whenever we are writing some of the data, right? Whenever we are creating a transaction file, for example, we are creating a strategy plan, we are creating a fact sales table, We are creating some fact sales quota. We have some data for the sales online also. We have the data for the inventory also. You know that the whenever we'll see the data, we'll see for a particular date itself, right? So this is my particular thinking. Whenever I see a date column or whenever I see a date table, that is the easiest table to connect, because that table would be connected to the majority of the table, and that table would have majority 90% of the time one to many relationship only. Still, let me go with our strategy itself. I will go in my table view. I will search for the date table. I'll click on it. I will explore that particular table. Oh my God, such a beautiful date table. Wow. This table has each and everything. I think so. It has, okay, it has date key also. It has calendar year also. It has the calendar year label also, if somebody wants to use it as the textual column in the visualizations. Okay. It has the calendar month label. It has the week label also. So this is pretty much a calendar type of table, and one could easily make out, right? So I am assuming that, okay, this is my primary key, that is the date key. That is, this particular table is having only the unique values, right? So the next step is pretty simple. Let me write the date key in my date key in my right hand side of the data tab. And as I already told you, date table is connected with each and every fact table itself. Date table is the everything is there. Yeah, Vijay. Correct. This is really a good calendar table. If somebody wants to even have a reference for the calendar table, they can definitely use this table. Like, I had explored this particular table. It has also the fiscal year, it has also the quarter, it has the label of the quarter, it is whether it was a holiday or not. This particular table is really good if somebody wants to just refer it in the future projects, or even include it in your resumes also, that you have created this particular date table and you had explored the data in it, right? So the next step would be that we have identified the tables which are present. That is, the each and every table is present with the in the case of the dimension date, right? So rather than opening the manage relationship tab, let me simply just drag and drop this time. That would save our time because this is a pretty simple step. Let me drag the table and column and put it on the foreign table. Let me again drag it and put it on the next table. That is the date key. And guys, these all steps that you are seeing right now, right? These all steps come from experience. If tomorrow in you are appearing for some kind of interviews, or if you are following these particular steps, right? I think I had given somebody had called me, and from you guys itself, somebody had called me that they wanted some help for this particular challenge, right? So I had given him one tip also, that you can explain this particular steps that you are doing, right? While creating the relationships, you can definitely explain that them that you had used this particular tracker to do it. You had used this particular tables, and you had used this particular steps. There were around six relationships present between the date table and the fact tables. So date table was connected with each and every table. So this clearly identifies that our report, whatever visualizations that we are going to make, the date slicer would definitely be there, because we can filter the data based on date, right? Because each and everything is connected with the date table. So this clears our one more doubt, that whenever in the although they had not asked us to create the visualizations, they had just asked us to create a report, right? But this particular point identifies a one slicer also, that okay, date column is connected to each and every table. So we can definitely create a date slicer over here. And let me drag and drop it to the last table as well. Oh, pretty hard work. Okay. So I have also completed one of another table, that is nothing but the dimension date. Okay. Now let me go to the next table. That is nothing but the dimension employee. Same kind of a step will appear, will do here also. I'll first search for dimension employee. Now, based on the table, I can see that this is nothing but the information about the employees, like who were working in the organization. That some of them were sales store managers. They had joined the organization on this particular date. Their birth date is this. This is their particular email address. This is their emergency number, or this is their emergency contact number. Their gender, pay frequency, etc., etc. Right. So one can pretty identify that this is also a master table. And also in the below section, we can see that this table contains 293 rows, and all the 293 rows have distinct value. So one of our major doubt is here also cleared, that the dimension table employees is also a master table, and it has a key of primary key of employee key, right? So let me mention that particular column, and I can see that on my right hand side, I can see that okay, there are three tables associated with it. One is the dimension employee, one is the sales territory, and other is the dimension store. First of all, let me do one thing for your understanding. I will search the table where I have placed it. Okay. So I have placed this particular table, dimension employee, over here. If you can see my mouse on the screen, you will see that this dimension employee table, I have placed it over here. Right. So let me go on the manage relationship tab. Let me click on new relationship. Let me on the from table, let me add the dimension employee table. And on the to table, I will add the dimension sales territory. And since everything is correct, Power BI has automatically identified our employee key as the primary and the foreign key with the cardinality of one to many. And also the cross filter direction is single over here. So let me click on save. And tada, our relationship is created between these two tables as well. Let me again create a relationship, because there is also one table which is containing the employees key. So let me select the dimension employee. Let me select the dimension store. Now, if somebody has noticed over here that this time, uh, dimension employee and dimension store. Sorry, I have by mistakenly I have selected dimension scenario. Yeah, so this has also identified the columns and created the relationship. Now, if somebody has noticed over here, till now we were creating the relationship between the dimension tables and the fact tables, right? Each and every relationship that we have created right now, that was something between the fact tables and something within the dimension tables. Now, in this particular scenario, which we have just observed, we can see that all the relationship is present between the dimension tables itself. So as I have explained in the first part itself, that the relationship could be between two dimension tables. That could be also one to many. The relationship could be between a dimension table and a fact table. That could be one to many. And when we are creating a relationship between two fact tables, that could be majority of the scenario. It would be many to many relationship. So finally, we have also created the relationship for the dimension employee table. Now the next table is nothing but our dimension entity. So pretty straightforward, not much to do in this also. We'll go to the dimension entity table. I'll first explore the particular data set which is provided by me. And I can see that the very first column is one store key will come into the picture, then ambiguity issue will. Okay, we'll see that also in the upcoming tables. Karan, have tweeted you the screenshot of my time doubt. Okay, okay. Rono, let me do one thing first. Let me explain this particular thing. So if your doubt gets clear in the explanation itself, so there would be no need, right? Otherwise, I'll do one thing after the session. I will call you. Okay. So in the dimension, I have sorted the entity key, and I can see that okay. 421 rows are present in this particular table, and 421 rows are the distinct values present over here. So this creates my this clears my doubt, that is this particular table is also the dimension table or the master table, and this will have the, this is basically the left hand side of the table. Now, once I search on the data field, the primary key, that is the entity key, I can find that, okay, there are two more tables with which has the entity key. One is the dimension store and the other is the fact strategy plan. So let me go in the data relationship model and let me write their entity key, and let me go to my manage relationship over here, and I will straightforward create two relationships over here. If the relationships are legitimate, there is no ambiguity issue, or if the relationship is correct, then the Power BI will automatically detect the relationships. And now see, on this time, we can see that there is the relationship type which is detected is one to one and not one to many, right? So if it is automatically detected, then it is correct only, right? Let me just save the relationship. So the relationship between the dimension entity table and the relationship between the dimension store table was one to one. So this is one of the change that we have seen. Now let me again click on the relationship, dimension entity and fact strategy plan. And this time we can see that the relationship present is one to many and the cross filter direction is single. Let me save this particular relationship, and I can see in my model that this is my dimension entity table. The relationship is created between the dimension store table and also the fact strategy plan. Now, one more thing I want you guys to notice is that between the dimension entity table and the dimension store table, the cross filter is present on both the sides. Now, this is not at all wrong. This is totally correct because the relationship is one to one. It doesn't matter if both the tables filter out each other, right? So this is also one of the point you can note it. Let me go to my tracker and let me add that values over here as well. Now my next table is nothing but the geography table. Let me go to my report, or sorry, let me go to my table view. Let me go to my geography table and let me, okay, let me dim geography so that we don't have confusion right now. Okay, so I can see that this is a typical geographical table that we have, in which we have the continent name, we have the city name, we have the state name, we also have the region, country name, and the geographical type, right? So in the geography key, we can see that there are total 674 rows present, out of which 674 are the distinct values. That is that this particular table is also the master table, right? One to one is the inner zone. Yeah, correct, correct. So that allows us to filter on both the side because it doesn't matter, right? Now let me go to the relationship view and let me just add the geography key over here. Okay, so I can see that there are three more tables which are containing the geography key as the column. So there is a possibility of the relationship between the between the dimension geography table and three more tables. The three more tables are nothing but the dimension customer table, dimension sales territory, and also the dimension store table, right? So all the tables are the dimension tables between which there is a possibility that we can create a relationship because it contains these three because these all the columns contain a common column which is nothing but the geography key. So let me just open my manage relationships. I will click on create a new relationship. I will click on from table, and in the from table I will add the geography table as the very first table. The next table that I'm seeing right now is the customer table, right? So let me add the customer table. And I can see that Power BI has automatically identified the common column, and it has also given me the cardinality and the cross filter, right? I'll click on save. and it has successfully created the relationship between the let me find my geography table. Yeah, this is the particular table, right? It has successfully created the relationship between the geography table and the customer table. Let me go in my marriage relationship. I will create click on new relationship again. I will click on dimension geography table. I'll click on the next table, that is the sales territory table, and I will click on save, which is 1 to 1. And we can see that it has also created the relationship between these two particular table. Now let me go and let me again create the relationship between the store table and the geography table. Geography and the store table. It has also identified, and let me click on it. Okay, so this is the time we are seeing our very first error, right? Which was while creating the particular relationship between the two tables, there is a error which says that there are ambiguous path between dimension store and dimension employees, and which is giving us a path here, that is dimension store is connected with the dimension geography. Dimension geography is connected with the dimension sales territory, and that dimension sales territory is connected with the dimension employee. Simultaneously, we also dimension store and dimension employee are connected. Let me do one thing. By this, I don't think we'll be able to understand. Let us create another view with which we can understand it. So I'll do one thing. First of all, I will click on the snipping tab. I'll you can see this particular steps as well, right? What is the step that I am following right now? Let me cancel it. Let me close this particular thing as well. Now, this is the scenario for our ambiguity one, which is the dimension. Mhm. Okay, never mind. I will explain you by this particular thing itself. Right. I hope my screen is visible to you all. Right. So we can see that we are trying to create a relationship between the dimension geography table and the dimension store table, right? Yeah. So we are trying to create a relationship between the dimension table, which is the dimension geography table, and the other table is the dimension store table. Now try to understand, guys. The ambiguity issue says that there should not be a table which is having many relationships with the other table, and it is automatically interrelated to itself. Now, what does it mean is that, for example, if we create a relationship between these two tables here, that is the dimension geography table and the dimension store table, this particular line will be generated over here, right? Everybody just pay attention for one thing over here. A line would be connected over here as well, right? We'll see that a relationship is connected between the dimension store table and the dimension geography table. So the dimension store table is connected with the dimension employee table as well. The dimension employee table is connected with the dimension sales territory table as well. And in return, that sales territory table is connected with the geography table, right? So this is what it is confusing our Power BI model, that how can a table be connected to interrelated itself, right? There should not be a circular dependency or a kind of ambiguity, right? That there should not be a issue which says that whenever I try to filter something from these three tables, automatically it will refresh, it will try to reset this particular table as well, right? This should not be the scenario. So the ambiguity issue is the issue that we need to avoid That issue will not allow us to create the relationship. Power BI will not allow us to create the relationship. Ambiguity issues confuse the Power BI models, as for anybody who is seeing the model will definitely be confused that how is the table that is connected to other tables is interrelated to itself also, right? So that should not be the scenario. I hope ambiguity issue is clear for everyone. Yeah. So let me move forward again. I will go to my data tracking. We need to avoid the ambiguity issues. I'll go to my data tracking. I will write the, okay, I think here I have missed one column that is for the new table. Can you explain the ambiguity issue again? Okay, anyways, we are going to again face an ambiguity issue because there is also one more table in which the ambiguity issue is going to come again. So I'll explain you there also one more time. So the next table is nothing but the dimension machine table. Let me go to my dimension machine. Now, this is a pretty straightforward table which is containing the machine informations. It is having the 7816 rows, that is 7816 rows, and all the rows are distinct, right? So let me quickly go to my relationship or the model view, and let me write the machine key over here. And I can see that there are total two more tables with which the machine table can be related. Let me go to my model also so that you guys can see the table. Loop error or circular dependency. Correct, correct. Yeah. Let me go to my model. So I think you guys are able to see the table that is the dimension machine over here, right? So let me create or try to create the relationship between these two tables as well. So I'll first select the dimension machine table, and next I will select the fact IT machine. Okay. Or the fact IT SLA. Chalo, let us go with the last table first, which we are seeing on the right hand side, right? So it has identified that this particular table is having the relationship with the machine key, and it has automatically set the cardinality also. Let me click on save and let us check if there is no ambiguity issue present over here. If there is no ambiguity issue, it will directly create the relationship for us. And we can see that it has created a relationship. Let me quickly create another relationship with the other table also. What is the dimension machine and the fact IT machine? Let me save this particular relationship. Let me close it and let me show you the relationships. And as we can see that this is our dimension table, that is the dimension machine, which we are currently working from our tracker. And these are the two tables, that is the fact IT SLA and the other table is the fact IT machine, right? Now let me go to the tracker and let me quickly update it over here. Okay, let me check the next table, that is the dim outage. Pretty straightforward. It is having only one relationship. And I think there is no ambiguity issue here. So outage key. Let me quickly create a relationship because this is a pretty straightforward relationship. I would just quickly create without exploring. But you guys please explore whenever you are seeing this particular file. You guys please explore it. And the relationship is between the IT SLA. Let me click on save. And we can see that the relationship is created between the in your tracker Excel sheet, your table names are following any order or a sequence. No, actually, I had just loaded the table in my Power BI desktop. Uh, that is there was a scene in which I had just broken the sequence in which the tables I had mentioned in the tracker, right? This is really a good doubt which you have asked. Let me come back to my tracker. I will explain where I had just broken the tracker. Mhm. Okay. So, okay, see, this is the place in which I had broken the tracker or I had broken the scenario, right? I had broken the sequence. We have three particular tables over here, right? I want everybody's attention on this particular three tables right now. This was the table because of which one of the feedback that was given by the challenger that there was an issue in the visualization also. Like whenever, well, you guys had submitted the data model, right? In some of the data models, the guys tried to create the table before the product categories and subcategories, and they were trying to create a visualization from two different tables, and they were getting some error. So that is, there was some data modeling error over here. So let me consider these three tables at once. And you also have a practice whenever you have a hierarchical, what would I say? When you have a hierarchical data present, right? Product category and product subcategory are hierarchical data. That is a category, and inside that category, we would have a subcategory, right? But in this scenario, we have present in two different tables, and we also have a product table present here. So what would I do is, if I am looking at my data model here, I will first explore the product subcategory table. Why would I choose product subcategory table? Please note, this is a really important tip, because that particular table is at the lowest level of hierarchy. That particular table is at the most inner circle present. Above that table, I would have a category table. About that category table, I would have a product table, which would have both the category and product subcategory, right? Let me go to my table view. Let me select the dim product subcategory table. And I can see that there are three columns present over here. The first column is the product subcategory. The second column is the product subcategory name. And the third and the most important column is nothing but the product category. Let me go to my product table also. That is the dim product table. Here I can see that there, sorry, not the dim product category. Let me go to my dim product category also. Here I can see that there are only two tables present. One is the product category table, and the other table is nothing but the product category name. Okay. So I have I have explored my two tables currently. The first table which I had explored was the lowest from the hierarchical category, that is the subcategory. Above the subcategory, I am assuming there will be a table which is having the categories present. Now, one thing, if you notice, in the category table, we don't have the subcategory information. And in the subcategory table, we have the category information present. Now, let me explore the product table as well. Now, in the product table, I can see that, okay, there is a product key present. And simultaneously, I am also able to see that, okay, there is a product subcategory key is also present over here. So this table is at the highest point of my hierarchy right now. It is having both the product category and the subcategory keys present. The product category table is only having the product key. The product subcategory table is having both the product subcategory key and the product key also. Let me go to my model view. Everybody just pay attention over what is the type of relationship and what is the type of thing I'm creating. Okay, I have seen this particular tables over here, right? So majority of the people, I am assuming most of you guys would have created the relationship between product subcategory key and the product key. Another table that you had created would be product category key and the product key. Sorry, the dim product, right? Let me repeat it again. I think there was some misplace of words. Majority of you guys would have created the relationship between product subcategory table and the dimension product. Also, you would have created the relationship between the dimension product category and the dimension product. Totally wrong. This is totally wrong. There is no need at all. The correct relationship would be, we will consider the dimension product category. If anybody wants to have the information, what are the keys present over here, right? So I can see that the dimension product category table is having the primary key as category key. And we can see that there are total 3 tables having the category key, right? Let me go to the product category key. I will connect it with the dimension product of the subcategory table, right? The product category is connected with the product category of the subcategory table. Now I know that the lowest table in my hierarchy is the product subcategory, but that table is already having the information about the product category key, right? So I will just drag my product subcategory key and drag it to my table of the highest hierarchy, that is the dimension product, and place it over here. And I can see that the product subcategory key is connected with the dimension product. Let me again explain you the flow also for it and why this is the most correct and the most optimized solution. Let me explain you that also. We don't have the information about the product subcategory key over here, right? In the dimension product category table. So there is no sense of connecting the dimension product category table with the dimension product table, right? Since we have the category information in the subcategory table, the most sensible solution would be to connect this particular categories to the subcategory and connect the subcategory with the dimension product table. By this, we'll have the information about both the category and the subcategory. This is the correct flow that was supposed to be given. Right. I hope everyone has understood this and why this is the most important thing. Still, one more step is pending. Let me explain you that also. Currently, we have just created the relationship between the product category table and the product subcategory table. Still, we are left with creating the relationship between the dimension product table, right? Let me select the product sub product key. Sorry. Okay. Now, one of the most interesting thing. We have connected the tables with the product category key. Product category is connected to the product subcategory table. Product subcategory key is connected to the dimension product table. Now we have the relation of the product key to both the product category key and product subcategory key. This is the product key in my dimension product table. The dimension product key is connected to the product subcategory key. So we have a relation over here. The product subcategory is present over here. So let me go to the relationship view and I will simply connect the dimension product with the 4 tables, that is the fact tables over here. This is the correct solution which was expected from you guys. Dimension product. The first table is nothing but the fact inventory table. It has automatically identified the product key. This was one of the tricky part that I think majority of the people would have done wrong, because they might have just seen the keys over there, that is the primary key and the foreign key, categories key and the subcategories key, and they must have created the table over there. Let me select the fact online sales table. You'll also notice one more thing, that once your table or once your model starts growing, right? Once you are creating multiple relationships with different tables, right? You will notice one thing, that your Power BI will start slowing down, right? Because the model size is increasing. But that is the challenge, right? We need to also create the models based on the size also, right? We don't want to work on the small data sets. We need to create the models on large data sets also, right? That is a challenging part. Dimension product, and the last table is nothing but the fact sales quota table. Okay, so pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but yet pretty tricky for the this part. That is the product dimension product category, dimension product subcategory, and the dimension product table. This was the most tricky part. If somebody wants to again refresh, I would suggest you can check out this video again and please understand it, right? The next table is nothing but the dimension promotion table. So let me go to the dimension promotion table. Okay. So I think this is a table that is discount or no discount type of table, which we everyone love, right? We all want discounts. So this is also a table that is unique table. This only contains 28 rows and all the 28 rows are unique, right? So let me just simply go to my relationship view. I will just select dimension. Sorry. Not dimension. I will just again select promotion key. Sorry, not dimension key, promotion key. And I can see that there are also other two tables present which are having the relationship over here, or there could be a possibility of the relationship if there is no ambiguity issue, right? So let me just open the manage relationship tab. I will select the dimension promotion table. I will select the two table as the fact online sales. As on the right hand side, I can see that the fact online sales is my first table, which is also having the promotion key, right? And as we are going correct, the promotion key is automatically detected by Power BI, and it has also set the cardinality over here. Let me save the particular relationship. Level of relationships increasing, Power BI is turning slow. Yeah, I can feel that. When and this is one of the major issues when we start working on the real client projects, right? There might be a scenario that we need to work on their virtual machines, right? If somebody is having knowledge about virtual machines, we might need to work on that. So that is a very tedious task. We because this that also becomes more slower and slower. But anyways, let us focus on this. The promotion, and the last table is nothing but the fact table, fact sales table. And again, it has detected. And let me just click on save the relationship. Okay, let me just show you where is that particular table in our model. This that is the dimension promotion. One of the relationship is here, and the other relationship is over here, which is the fact online sales. And one of the relationship is over here, that is the fact sales, right? So one more table I have already completed. Let me go to the last two tables that are present. That is the dimension store table. No, I think first of all is the dimension scenario table, right? So let me click on dimension scenario. And once the tables are created, we'll again go back to the PPT and we'll check what was the feedback given, right? We need to also see some of the more points over there. So this is pretty straightforward, very simple table, only three rows, three of the rows are unique rows. Let me go to my relationship view. I will write scenario key. I can see that two of the tables have the possibility of relationship if there is no ambiguity issue present, right? So let me click on the new relationship tab. I will quickly select the particular table, that is the scenario table, and I will also select the fact sales quota, right? This has detected the particular columns correctly and also the cardinality. So I think we are going right if the relationship is created. Let me save it. Let me again create a new relationship. Let me select the particular table, that is the dimension scenario and the fact strategy plan. That is also successfully created. There was no ambiguity issue over there. And here is my dimension scenario table present. If you guys can see my mouse on which I am hovering right now. So this is my dimension scenario table. One of the relationships is created with one-to-many type with the fact strategy plan, and the other relationship is created with the fact sales quota, right? So let me go to my tracker again. I will enter the values over here as well. And the last table which we are seeing is our dimension store table. Oof, too much happy, right? Whenever we see the ending part of a particular table, right? Of a particular step, sorry. Dimension store. Let me check what are the values present. Let me first click on the very first column, that is the store key. I can see that there are 306 rows present, and out of which 306 rows are the distinct values present over here, right? So this is also a master table. If I'm guessing, it is containing the values such as the store name, who is the store manager, what is the status of the store, is it on, if that store is on, then what was the opening date, what is the closing date, etc., etc., right? Not yet closed, again, right? So let me go to my relationship view. I will write the store key over here, that is the primary key. Sales territory table, dimension sales territory table. Let me just give it one shot. First, let me create this particular table. I'll come back to it. Store key, right? And we can see that, okay, there are multiple tables with which we can create the relationship. That is the dimension machine table, then the fact inventory table, fact ITSLA, fact online sales, fact sales table. And I'm pretty sure that we are going to face an ambiguity issue over here because majority of the tables are now connected with each other, right? So let me quickly go to the very first table, that is the dimension store table. And in the two table, I will select the dimension machine table. Okay, and as we have seen that this type of relationship is having a many to many cardinality, this should be used if it is expected that neither column status contains unique values, right? So I think there is this particular dim store is not detected the store key, and this is the store key. Sorry guys, my mistake. The store key was not detected directly by Power BI. So this is one of the things that even I have encountered right now, right? So the store key is now correctly visible on both the sides, and let me just save and check if this is working. Okay. Successfully created one. All keys are available in this table. Yeah, I think so. Pretty forward. Let me again click on the from table. Let me go to the dim store. Let me click on the fact inventory, which is our second table. And let me try to create one more relationship over here. And that is also successfully created. Let me click on again new relationship. I will click on the store table. Then I will click on fact ITSLA, and I will click on OK. Okay, I think there is something over here. Let me go to my store table. Where is my store? Where is my store? Store table. Store table. This is okay, guys. You can see that one of the table has the dotted lines. One of the guy was already asking me what is this dotted lines present over here, right? So this is nothing but the inactive relationship. Now Power BI is so intelligent that while creating the relationship, right, while we were on this particular window, it has automatically detected that we can create a relationship between these two tables, right? But Power BI is intelligent enough to identify whether do we need this particular relationship or not. So for this particular reason, the model itself was unchecked for the make this relationship active. Now, I would suggest that if this is unchecked by the default condition, right? So let us go for the inactive relationship only over here. If there is any issue in future, we can definitely make this relationship active also, right? Let me go to the manage view. Let me create a new relationship. The from table would be the dimension store table, and the to table would be the fact online sales. Let me create a relationship, and we can see that the make the relationship active was checked over here, right? So Power BI was identifying that, okay, we can create a relationship between these two tables. Let me make this relationship active. But also while saving the relationship, there was an ambiguity issue present over here, which says that there is the ambiguous path between two of the tables. Let me go to the ambiguity model. Okay. So this is the table which we are having, the fact online sales and the dimension store, right? Let me go to the model view again. Let me create a relationship, that is the dimension store table and the fact online sales. These are the inactive relationships. Please check. No, I don't think majority of the relationships would be inactive. What is the use of the inactive relationship if is is it not same as having a relationship? No, if you are having an arrow in your Power BI model, right? And if that arrow is a dotted model, then it says that it is not having the active relationship present. Currently, we are not referring to that particular two tables, right? Let me first clear this particular ambiguous parts, that is the fact online sales and the dim employees, right? So online sales is connected with the dim store is connected with the employees is connected with the fact online sales, right? We also have the customer and the geography over here. Let me do one thing. I will open my snipping tab again. I will store this particular information so that we don't have to look again and again over here. I'll click on cancel. I'll go to the ambiguity. Now I can refer that, okay, dim fact online sales, dim employee. Okay, let me do one thing. Fact online sales, we have the dim employee. Okay, so we need that table as well. Let me drag and drop it over here. Then we have the dim customer. I think customer is already present. Dim sales territory. Okay. So I hope everybody is able to see my screen. I hope everybody is able to see the ambiguous path that we are seeing right now, right? So we are trying to create a relationship between the dimension store table and the fact online sales. Now, this is giving us an error which says that ambiguous paths are between these two particular tables, right? Now, in simple terms, I think somebody had just asked me to repeat the confusion of the ambiguous path, right? अगर मैं हिंदी में समझाऊँ तो ambiguous paths are nothing but कि भाई ये दोनों टेबल के बीच में ऑलरेडी एक इनडायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप प्रेजेंट है. You can't create the direct relationship again because that would lock the circle, or that would create a circular type of dependency, right? So let me explain you again. Dimension store and fact online sales are indirectly related to each other, because we can see that dimension store is related to dimension employees is related to Dimension employees is related to dimension sales territory. The sales territory is related to geography. The geography is related to customers, and the customer table is related to the fact online sales, right? So there is no logic of creating a relationship between these two tables. That is the fact online sales and the dimension store, right? There is already an indirect relationship present between these two tables, right? So we need to avoid this particular relationship as well. So I will again go to my relationship view. I hope this time it is clear. I will click on store key. I will just skip this particular table, that is the fact online sales. I will go to my dimension store, and in the two, this time I will write the fact sales table. Now if the ambiguity is not present in between these two tables as well, this will try to create a relationship between the dimension store and the fact table, and we can see that it has created a relationship over there. Now let me go and try to create the relationship between the dimension store table and the last table, which is nothing but our fact sales quota. And let me try to create the relationship. See, it is not necessary that you might understand it by once only, right? This was a very large data set, right? So there might be a scenario that you can again look at this particular table, or you can again check the model which would be provided to you, right? Now, let me go to my tracker. Let me enter the values over here, and I can see that my all the tables all are connected. Whatever was the possible relationship I had created, and now one part of my data modeling is done. Right. Now let me first go to the PPT again. I will stop sharing my screen for a minute. I will again share my screen. So what is the thing that we have done right now? We have discussed on the ambiguity issue. Now, the point number 3 is that for this particular point, that is the product category, product subcategory, and the sales category table, right? Vijay is writing A to B, B to C, then C to A. Yes, correct. That is the major logic, like the basic logic of the ambiguity issue, right? That is, if A is connected to B and B is connected to C, then there is no point to connecting between the C and again B, right? Because that is automatically related to each other, right? So let me discuss on this point now. That is the point number 3. That is the product category, product subcategory, and the sales check. We have correctly modeled our product category, subcategory, and the dimension product table. Now, this was one of the feedback provided by the challenge giver. They had given that the models which were prepared by you guys, when they tried to see what they had written, a few models submitted by some of the applicants simply did not work. Try mapping product category and subcategory in rows in a matrix and year to column. Right. Try displaying the sales amount. This should not display an error. Correct. So what I have simply done is that, let me just explain you this particular matrix. I am taking the product category from my product master table. On the right hand side, if you guys can see, I am taking the product category from product master table. I am taking the product subcategory from the product subcategory table. That is, the product subcategory name is coming from the product subcategory table. And they had told that try to map the sales amount, right? If your product category, let me go to my model view for just a second. If these three tables are correctly linked to each other, right? If this is the flow of the data that you have prepared, this should not show an error, right? So what I had done was, rather than just looking at the sales from one table, I had taken the column of sales amount from all the three fact sales table. That is the fact online sales, fact sales table, and the fact sales quota. And we can see that our table is displaying the values. That is, there is no issue in the model. So I don't know what you guys must have done in the model, but this is the correct solution. And this was the feedback provided by them. And I have shown you the solution, right? The second table is the measure table. One of the really important concept while you are working on such large data set is that you should never write measures, or you should never create measures and calculated columns in a single table. The best practice is to create another table which will have just the measures, right? And that is known as the measure tables. How to create that particular table? Go to your home tab, click on enter data. Please mark this or particular feedbacks also, right? Because these are really good feedbacks. Click on the enter data button. That will appear a window for you, that is a create table, right? Rename that table for measures, or if you want to create another name, you can write that also, measure containing table or something like that, and simply click on load, right? Now on the right hand side, you can see that a new table would be created, that is for measures. Uh, just a minute. The pending queries are applied. Okay, the model is becoming very slow. Okay, so we can see that the table, that is the for measures, is created on the right hand side, right? Mm, yeah, for measures, right? Now the second step would be to create a measure in this particular table. Let me, for the time being, just create a measure that will calculate the revenue for us, right? Since we have the total cost and the unit price as well, right? And say total number of quantity that was sold. So revenue is nothing but the sales quantity into the sales unit price, right? So let me write the revenue formula over here, and let me write the tax, that is nothing but sum x. And for the time being, I will just use the table, that is the fact sales table, and in the expression I will write unit price into number of units sold. I think that is the column name, units sold. Units, I think quantity must be the, okay, sales quantity, right? So for the time being, I have created one measure in my for measures table. Okay, but here is not coming in the column. Okay, which column? Okay, just give me. Okay, that is in the point number 3 and point number 4. Just give me a minute. I had not used that in this particular column. And the last step would be to delete the only column that is present in the for measures. Now you'll see one change. Everybody, please pay focus on this. You will see one change whenever I delete the only column present, right? So we'll be just left with one measure. That particular table is shifted to the top side of the data pane. You can see that the symbol is also changed. Like majority of the tables that we are having is containing data, right? So we are seeing a squarish kind of a symbol over here with the grid lines, right? But on the measure table, which is on the measure tables, we are having the measure symbol. So this is the table that we have designed for only measures, right? So best practice is that, let me go to the point number 2, that is the feedback which they had created, that many models did not have the measure tables. Explore business metrics and relevant for this table, for this data, right? So the best practices for developing a Power BI project is that we should create a separate table or a measure table that would be disconnected in the table model view as well, right? You can see that our measure table is hiding over here somewhere. This table will not be connected to any other table, and the purpose of creating a measure table is that only that it should only contain the measures, right? It should not have any other columns or calculated columns data present in it. So this particular point is also clear. Let me go to the next point, that is the hierarchy check, right? Uh, that is the point number 3. Check if all the required hierarchies are present in the data set. Let me take a very good example for this. For the year, right? We had also a feedback that the year was not coming properly, right? Now I am trying to create a line chart, and also guys, please note that whatever steps we are doing right now, right? We had created a measure table, we had created some of the metrics. These are all the steps from which we can validate our data model. We can check if there is no issue in the visualizations, right? Let me just add the date table over one of the date column over here. Let me go to the dim date table itself. Now what is their ask is that check if all the hierarchies are present in the data set. One of the hierarchy that I can see is the date, year, quarter, month, and day. Now if my model is correct for all the let me go to the total cost for any particular date, for any particular month, for any particular quarter, or for any particular year. If a person viewing at this particular report must be able to see the result. I have selected the total cost from the fact sales. Now, to check my hierarchy, if the necessary hierarchies are present in the table that are automatically created for me, right? You have seen in today's session, I have not created any date hierarchy over here, right? So once I go or once I drill down in this particular manner, or once I drill up also, I can see that I can see the months data, I can see the quarter data, I can see the year data as well. If I want to expand to one level in under the hierarchy or over one hierarchy, that is year, and above the year we should have the month, that is also working, right? So the model which I am preparing, or the model which we had prepared in this 2 hours, is correct. So this was one of their feedback based on your models. Now we are not going to check each and everyone's models, right? But you can refer this model in future. And the last is the measure examples. Now, measure examples is the revenue, which one is already created. The next is the total cost. Let me create that also. They had given a feedback that one could have used multiple measures to show us what could we have done, right? But I think it's okay. Like measures, if somebody wants to create measures on this particular table, right? On this particular large data set, one could have created hundreds of measures, right? So it was not that required. One could have just used some measures to check the working of the model. Let me again create the summix and let me write the fact sales. Let me add the what is the total cost, right? That is the unit cost into the quantity, sales quantity, right? Let me click on enter. And we have also created one more measure, that is nothing but the total cost, right? Now, one of the last measure that I want to show you as an example that you could have used, or you could have created also multiple measures, is nothing but I will use the gross profit of the as a measure, right? So I know that gross profit is nothing but total cost, or we can also write revenue minus total cost. It's one and the same, just the sign difference. And I have created 3 measures for my, okay, I think there is, okay, guys, please ignore my caps lock and the writing format. This was just a mistypo. Let me add product over here from the product category table. Let me add the product subcategory name also. And finally, let me add our three measures and let us check if we are under profitable or we are not profitable, right? Profitable means that our values must be in the positive format. If the gross profit would be in negative, so that would be indicating that we are in loss right now, right? So this is the last thing that I wanted to discuss, that you could have created some measures also. The key takeaways from this particular session would be you need to prepare a tracker file whenever you are looking at this particular large model. You need to create a measure table whenever you are trying to work on such large model. And the thing and one of the major thing is you need to check the hierarchies also. There should not be a scenario that if some visualizations are created, people are not able to drill down or drill up, right? And also some of the key points from this session would be the product category, product subcategory, and the dimension product linking. And rest was the ambiguity issue, which was, I think, pretty straightforward. We have seen two examples and we have seen how we can avoid it, right? So I think that was it from my side today. I hope you guys have enjoyed the session. Many of the people had asked me for the solution of the data model past 1 week. I think many of the people had called me, can you please show us the data model, how to do it? So I think this was a really good example. We have spent around 2 hours of me speaking and you listening on it, right? So I think this was pretty good session. If you guys want to follow me on LinkedIn, you can definitely follow me there also. And if you have any doubt in future, definitely feel free to connect. If I'm not busy, I'll definitely respond in some time. So that was it from my side. You will get the Power BI file, the PBIX file. You'll get the data set in the description. You can download the data set from that, and I will also send this particular PPT with you guys. And if anybody wants the solution tracker, I will also send the tracker with you guys. No worries for that also, right?
I've
So let
attached
me just
everything as a part of the description. I think thanks, Karan. This was really a great session. I personally loved it. To be very honest, I think the data sets which they have provided as a part of challenge. Guys, if you do this modeling, no, your life as a Power BI developer will be very easy. I think this is the master data modeling class which I believe. इससे complex नहीं कुछ होगा. इतना करते करते ही it will take you 3 years. Karan has been in this journey. So it will take you 3 years by the time you reach such kind of data sets. To do this, start from the basics data modeling. Those who are very new to Power BI, you can enroll in Karan course. He teaches Power BI under analytics with anand.in and also as a part of master data analytics. So he'll be teaching you from the complete basics. So slowly, if you are in very new to data modeling, start it. And this should be your end project. And make sure you mention this in your resume straight away. Yeah. This is the complex data modeling which we have encountered. Anand sir, I had doubt regarding the job assistant program you mentioned earlier starting in August. Can you please tell about it once again and how can I join? Ayush, you can reach out to me. You have my LinkedIn, you have my phone number. I'll guide you. Right? I'll guide you accordingly. Karan will be there teaching you the Power BI over there. Yeah, he'll take care of the entire Power BI. SQL I'll handle and Python will be handled by Prachi, another faculty. So we have lot many syllabus. Go through the syllabus, go through the course, which is commencing from 15th August and then feel free to join. That's a completely job guarantee program, by the way. It's not assistance. There's a huge difference between assistance and guarantee. You get a guaranteed job program, right? Thanks, Anuradha. Great session. Thanks. And spread this
thanks
data modeling
Anuradha.
video. I want all of you to share this on your LinkedIn profile. Karan has done a great job. So make sure you share this and majority of user it should reach those who are into the Power BI development. I think it will give a great insight, especially the tracker. I loved it. I was not aware when I was working as a Power BI. This tracker is really helpful when you have such a big data set. At least you can map it, you can see it so that you can keep a track.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Okay, Karan. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anand. Thank you,
Good night,
everyone.
guys. Keep learning, keep inspiring, and do follow Analytics Talent channel and follow Karan also. You can reach out to him LinkedIn also. Yeah. We'll come with more such interesting sessions. There are some other sessions also lined up with Karan. He'll be soon coming more live with more such amazing content. Yeah. Last question. Once again, Karan. Karan, last question. Can you please
Vijay, I would recommend that can you try this particular, since I am going to give you this model also, right? I am going to provide you. you can definitely try to add columns from multiple tables and you can analyze it, right? If you face any particular errors, you can, I would suggest that since we have done 90 to 95% of the work over here of the data modeling, right? I would request 5% of the learning from you guys also, 5% of the research from you guys also.
Okay.
Yeah, even after that, you have some doubt, Vijay, definitely you can connect me on LinkedIn. I'll discuss you on this point number 3, right? That is the year column, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Karan. Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Good
Anand.
night.
Thank you,
Take care and
everyone.
do subscribe to this channel for all your data analytics update. We'll come up with new upcoming videos. And of course, those who wants to enroll in job guarantee program, those who are already 3 years in their career in the data analytics domain, this is the right time to switch to your data engineering. There's also a separate data engineering course. So check out analytics.anand.in for all this information. And feel free to reach out to me or Karan or anyone. Okay. Bye, guys. Take care. Good night. Have a great day tomorrow.
Thank you.